Hi, well, welcome to another segment of Divine Connections, where I believe something powerful is going to happen tonight. I have some tremendous guests with me, and I believe that tonight's show, Ladies in Waiting, is going to prove so beneficial to absolutely every person who tunes in. I want you to hit like, I want you to hit love, I want you to hit share. I want you to tag in one of your girlfriends you know that is single and waiting on God to send that special somebody into their lives. I want you to tag somebody in there that have been dealing with some depression and some frustration and all types of emotions concerning their singleness, because we're going to talk about it tonight. The Bible teaches us, they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength, and they shall mount up on wings like an eagle. But what does that mean? In a lot of cases, when people have been waiting for long, prolonged periods of time, when they don't have the tools, they make bad mistakes, they choose the wrong people for their lives. We're going to cover it all tonight. I want you to welcome my very special guests tonight. Both of these ladies are tremendous. And I want you to put your hands together right where you are and welcome Diana Monet and the real Asia. They are
Hello.
my guests tonight, and I am overflowing with joy because of what I believe that they're bringing to us on tonight. So, ladies, welcome and thank you so much for accepting our invitation to come and to share your life with us. We are ready.
Yes, truly my pleasure. Yes.
I want you ladies to take about just 60 seconds or so to just tell us who you are and what you do. We'll start with you, Diana Monet.
All right. Well, my name is Deanna Monet, and I am founder of Extreme Financial Academy. Extreme Financial Academy, I teach three basic fundamental things, which is credit, budgeting, and debt management. So I pretty much teach adults how to restore their own credit. I don't believe in paying companies hundreds of dollars to do something that you can do yourself with just a little knowledge. And then outside of that, I'm a founder of Expo Foundation as well, where I actually teach teenagers the basic fundamentals of those three things as well, where I go to high schools and just teach those, because those, we got to get to the basics, which is the only way we can really get a hold of the debt thing is by catching the teenagers before they get out of high school. So that's pretty much what I do. And the newest project that I've been working on is the Meditation Lounge. For single women and, that's been through some things in relationships, I definitely can take them through a guided meditation process on where to start, because of course we know it starts with self-love and healing. So that's a little bit about myself. So I'm full-fledged entrepreneur.
All right, the real Asia. Talk to us. Tell us, who are you and what do you do?
Hi, my name is Asir, and I have been in the entertainment industry for over 15 years. I've done a multitude of things, everything from acting, you've seen me in some film and television, to modeling, radio show host, television show host, and content creator, producer, you name it, I've done it. My current projects are, I have a book, Camouflage Life. Right now on Amazon. Right now, me and my team are in the process of scripting that. I have a nonprofit. You can go to nrfadv.org and learn about my nonprofit to help women that have been victims of domestic violence and that are in the legal system. And we try to also help them before they get into the legal system. I am currently also working with an investment group where we are empowering women through financial knowledge of investing. Right now, with this new digital age of currency, you need to have some type of knowledge about what's coming up on the digital front when it comes to your financial investments for yourself and your children. So those are some of the things I'm currently working on right now.
So both of you ladies are professional women. You bring a lot to the table. Tell me, what has been your single journey? Tell us a little bit about what that has looked like. Either one of you can go first.
Go ahead, Sincere. You can go first since I went last time. Oh, look, listen, I can go.
All right.
I would say my single journey has been frustrating. It was been very frustrating simply because, you know, whenever you're going a different route, and this is just my experience, you know, whenever you're going, to me, entrepreneurship and, you know, business ownership, it is a very different route depending on where you grew up, who you grew up around. And that was kind of the case for me. You know, a lot of the people that I grew around, they had degrees and they went, you know, to college and you know what I'm saying? And they had a lot of accolades. Myself, you know, I grew up in a household where my mom was an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? My dad was an entrepreneur. You know, so I seen how it worked on, you know, how to be your own boss and, you know, not to have to depend on corporate America, you know, and they're controlling everything. And one little thing happens and now you're homeless, you know. So I got a chance to see that really, really young. So my frustration being a young woman, you know, I remember being 21, 22 on up and just being kind of frustrated, not feeling like I could find someone to not only match me emotionally, but just some of my goals and my visions that I had because they were so just out of the norm. You know, entrepreneurship, again, it's, you know, it takes rhino skin for us, you know, to do this.
Right.
So I would say that's been kind of the journey, is just mainly just the frustration with that for me personally.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Asia?
Well, my struggle with being single is finding someone that's not intimidated. That's a lot of times when you're a woman and you're an entrepreneur, when you have a voice that you're able to say, you know, no, the sky is not black today, the sky is blue.
Yes.
Today. Some men come across and think, oh, you're being the angry black woman because you don't agree with me. But that is the case. It's just been in the industry. Sometimes you meet someone that when you're single, you tend to settle. You tend to say, you know what, I've dated men that find me intimidating because of my entrepreneurship, because I have a strong go-getter mentality, and they tend to want to demean you or break you down or try to break down your self-esteem. Because, you know, they feel like that, hey, you know, she's already doing these things. Either they feel like they can't bring enough to the table, or they feel like, what, you know, what can I offer her? So it's been a struggle to be able to say, look, I'm just looking for, nobody's perfect. I'm looking for the imperfection side of you that complements the imperfection side of me, if that makes sense. So that's been a lot of my struggle. I'm looking for someone where we can be equally yoked and understand I'm not your competition. We're trying to build this together. I don't want to walk behind you. I want to walk beside you. And let's just make it together. And that's the hard part for me, is finding someone that's not intimidated by every aspect that I've been able to accomplish.
Well, I got to get you ladies into a different pool of men, because I know a lot of men that are not intimidated by high-performing women. They want that power couple, you know, they want that power couple connection. They want somebody that, you know, can really bring it. You know, when they stand out in the crowd. And sometimes what happens is, the pool of people that we know are not drawing the type of people that we need. So hopefully this platform will provide an opportunity for somebody to see one of you ladies that is not in your circle and not connected to anybody that you know, but they just happen to turn on this live broadcast and run across these two beautiful ladies and decide, hey, I want to get to know one of you, you know, better, or both. Well, you know, not one person. Both of you.
Go ahead and show them my good side.
Yeah, I understand. So I got a call today from a gentleman that has a magazine, and he was telling me about all the things that I'm doing. And I look at him, well, I don't look at him, I talk to him on the phone, and I say, well, how do you know all of these things about me? And he said something that confirmed what I believe. He says, I watch everything you're doing. Now, he never comment on my Facebook page. He never hit like on anything. I never see him in my story, but he knows everything that I'm doing. So I'd like to submit to you ladies that there are people out there that are watching you secretly. There are people out there that want to hear more about Dayana Monet, want to hear more about Asir. They want to know, who are you at your core? Besides all of the things that you do, who is Dayana Monet?
I love it. Absolutely.
Who
Absolutely.
You know,
and I totally agree with that. There's totally people watching that we have no idea. That's so true.
All it takes is one connection, one time. One connection, one time. That's all it really takes. And, you know, there are gentlemen probably watching right now that's saying, these two beautiful ladies, it's not that you're having trouble finding the right person, it's that the right person is having problems finding you. Because you are ready, you've done the work. I believe you've done the work. You know, and I was talking on yesterday, one of the things that I found out about both of you ladies is that you have in the past chosen situations, circumstances, or people that cause you to be in a place of abuse. Is that something you'd like to talk a little bit about to some of our audiences?
I'll go first this time. One of the things that I want to say, I'm gonna get a little closer because I want to make sure that I can connect with the audience, and my computer over here. One of the things that I want to say is sometimes, just like with an abuser, how can I say this? A pedophile or someone, a stalker or someone, sometimes you don't always choose who you're going to be with. Sometimes because of certain things that you may do, the way you walk, the way you carry, you may be shy, you may stand off in the back of a room. Sometimes you can be chosen. And what I mean by that is that there are people out there that feel like, okay, I need to be empowered by meeting someone that I stand out more than they do, or I don't want this type of woman. I need someone where I can be the boss. So yes, while I will agree, I have had that experience of being in a domestic situation, but I don't believe that I deliberately chose that person. I believe that by dating that person, I gave so much of myself, which single women tend to do. Not everyone, but some of us. When we go on a date, we give so much information so freely. It's just like someone taking a note. She's been through this before, or maybe she has children and she needs someone to help her out. So maybe I can kind of jump over here, or maybe she's too financial stable and I'm a little short over here. I need to be over here. So for me, it's not necessarily choosing someone. It is allowing yourself to be chosen sometimes, instead of having a standard of knowing who you are, whose you are, and what you bring to the table as far as your worth. And a lot of times, you know, we've been so bruised, Prophet, that we've been so bruised sometimes that we don't even know who we are as women. So a sign of abuse, you stay in it. You don't know how to get out. Or if you are a strong person, you feel like that you have not met someone in your past that you're equally yoked to, you tend to say, I'm going to settle.
Wow.
So you settle for somebody, then that's when they come in and say, oh, let me show you my real self. You know, Deanna, I don't know how you feel about that, but I'm asking you to chime in on some of the things I've said.
Absolutely. And this is actually going to be phenomenal, because I'm going to be able to speak on how, because MC, in my situation, I was not in domestic abuse, but in my situation, I chose that person. So mine was the other way around. And it was to the point to where when I say meditation changed my life, because that self-worth and that self-love, if you don't have that, you'll just let anybody do anything to you and you'll feel an insecurity. See, when I was younger, I was never the girl that a guy, especially coming out of high school, would take home to his mother. And I can be totally transparent and say that I was not that girl. I had a tongue ring. I was trying to figure out life. I didn't have that look per se that a man wanted. So in my case, I was always chose up on. I was always the girl that was dating a guy and, oh, you're so cool and you're cool to hang out with, but she's going to school for nursing. I'm going to choose her. So that was me. So the moment that I got to a place at about 21, 22, the first man that chose me, I failed. And there was nothing that he could do. Everything that he pretty much did, there was nothing that he could do to make me say, you know, enough is enough. It wasn't until I started meditating, and it wasn't until I chose myself till things changed. So I said it was going to be interesting because mine really was the opposite. And so I always say that's why I love meditation, because whenever you get to a certain point, like now, that would never happen. I'm not even on the same frequency as him. You know what I'm saying? Like, he even knew when I got to a point to where, wow, she's so far removed from me. She's so far removed from the energy and the low frequency and the not loving yourself. Because whenever you love yourself, whenever you got that self-worth and you know who you are, you're only going to attract people with the same exact thing. So I had to take responsibility for that. Like, that was something that I know that for women is so hard for us to do sometimes whenever we're going through certain traumas. It's hard for us to take responsibility and say, you know what? I did choose that, unfortunately. He was feeding an insecurity inside me and I overlooked everything else, all because I really didn't love myself. And so I always speak to the women who don't love themselves, who really do go and they choose that guy, because like you said, Sincere, it can be the other way around, to where if you still don't have that self-love, you're going to attract the same person. I always say the same demon, just in a different body, you know? So that's honestly, you guys, my take on it is I chose it.
Yeah, I think when we really think about, well, you know, I like to think of it like this. I like to think that when we're not whole, we attract people who are not whole.
Absolutely.
Yes.
It's almost like they just know when they come into the presence of a person who's broken, who has low self-esteem. I mean, there are certain things now, me being a little bit older, now I recognize women who have low self-esteem and women who still need all of the attention when they walk in the room. It's not like they walk in the room and they command the attention. It's like they walk in the room and they must have the attention. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you know, they start to feel, you know, some kind of way, and then they start to compete with all the women that are in the room. But see, when you are truly whole, you have no need to compete, because you recognize nobody else brings to the table what you're bringing to the table. Yeah. And whenever that right person chooses you, and you know, and I like to think that they choose you because they should pursue you, because you are the prize. Mm-hmm. You are the gift. You're bringing a lot.
That's very true.
And you're a kingmaker. We make kings.
Absolutely.
The Bible says that when a man finds a wife, he finds a good thing, but he don't even get real favor until he finds you.
That's the truth.
And so with you on his arm, you become like his ornament that pushes him to the next level. You're not his competitor. You're his ornament. You're there to add to his life. You have a strength that's under control. You know who you are. You're not concerned about competing with other people. And now you're in a position to where you are choosing people who are healthy, who are financially stable, people who can help you to build, opposed to tearing you down because they need to tear you down in order to control you.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. So now since you ladies have gone through that experience, mm-hmm. you know, how long does it take for you to recognize that a person that you are dating or that you are seeing, or someone who is trying to approach you, how long does it really take you to know this is not it? Let's start with you, Asir.
I'm smiling because in an instant, I can tell. I can tell how the conversation is going. And I want to touch back on what Deanna said. Deanna said about meditation and healing. A part of being able to recognize what you're asking, Prophet, is, like you said, loving yourself, being able to know who you are. And as I stated, your self-worth. If you automatically know when they open their mouth and they start to talk to you, what aura, for lack of someone is actually presenting in your space, and your spirit and their spirit, you're going to be able to feel something. You're going to be able to hear something. But oftentimes what we do is ignore it. I'm going to give you an example. The first time someone hits you, they're showing you who they are. They are, so now you have a choice. So when we talk about choosing and choices, you have a choice. Are you going to stay or are you going to leave? But women are so emotional. The first thing that we do is say, he's going to change. I'm going to forgive him. I love him. He said he'll never do this again. He showed you who he was. It may not be this year, next year, 2 years from now, but he got away with it. I'm not saying all men. I'm not saying that. When someone shows you who they are, you better believe it. That's who they are.
That's true. That is true. Deanna,
I honestly, that was my answer was going to be very similar. I'm going to know immediately from the first conversation, especially when you are meditating. Whenever you heal, it's almost like it's a connection. It's the spirit. You can feel it immediately. Like Sincere said, it's like immediately, especially on certain things that they say. I pay attention to reactions. If I tell you, especially like Sincere said, we're so used to men competing, because that was the issue in my relationship. Although it wasn't domestic abuse, it was just so I just was emotionally abused all the time. I mean, he just tried to just beat me down as low as he could. He just, you know what I'm saying? So for me to be in a space to already not really fully know my worth, he wasn't making it any better. I already hadn't been chosen. So it's like, I'm not enough. That was just what was in my head. So it's like, now I'll peep little bitty things a mile away, again, actions and reactions and the way that he's talking and, just the way that he handles me, that spirit is first though. Once we feel that,
wow,
it's a wrap. Once I feel that bad spirit, it's a wrap.
It's a wrap. So talk to me a little bit about where you were, Deanna Monet. Where were you in your growth and development when you found yourself caught up in that abusive situation?
I was 24 years old, and it was right before I had my son. My son is 5 years old now. So it was about pretty much 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, it was just when I'm really, just becoming that woman, really starting to figure out what I want to do in life, really figuring out, the entrepreneurship, that this is the route, but still wanted love though. Still wanted love, still wanted to be chosen, still wanted to feel like I was enough. So that's around the time that it happened. And that's honestly because of the time frame that it happened with my son being involved. That's what also made me stay for so long. And that happens to a lot of women. You get in that situation where you feel like, oh, well, we have a child together, or, oh, we've been through so much, you start making all these excuses, and then it doesn't help when they do the same thing. The men will play the kids on you too, we didn't, me and you grew up without a father. Why would you do that to our child? It's a real sick game, but
wow.
But that's what made me stay for so long. But yep, it was around the time when, I was going into motherhood that really hit me hard.
I'd like to speak to the audience right now. I can see some of the comments coming through. I know I can't see them all, but you're out there and you're watching, and you want to ask the question about ladies in waiting and what that really means. I want you to post your questions or your comments in the text box, and so that we can kind of address them. Going back to our title tonight, Ladies in Waiting. What does that mean to you, Asir, and what are you waiting on?
Well, the Bible says that the man that findeth a wife findeth a good thing. So what I've done now is I've learned to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
Learn to be patient. A lot of times we as women tend to feel like I'm getting a certain age and I'm ready to be married, or maybe you were groomed to be married. You know, you get married, you have kids. So sometimes it's easy for someone to sneak in because you just feel like I'm just gonna settle again for whatever's come along, or I don't want to risk losing him. So I'm going to take this chance while I can, even though something in your spirit may say, you know what, this is not right, but you do it anyway. For me, I want him to find me this time. I want him to, when I meet him, I want something in my spirit to say, we have this quote unquote, pardon the pun, divine connection, you know? What am I looking for? I'm looking for the better half of me that's missing. Not someone that's going to take my flaws and use it against me, but someone that's going to complement those flaws. I'm looking for someone that can educate me on some things in business. I don't know everything, you know, as an entrepreneur, but if you can teach me something, I'm willing to learn. Someone that has a high regard for his spirituality. If he loves his mother, I'm hoping that he'll love me the same way that he loves his mother. You know, everything else I'll just leave to God to just say, you know what, this is who I'm sending you, not who you want, but who I'm sending you. He may not come in the package you want him to come in. He may not come from around the corner. You may not have grew up with him, but this is the gift that I'm sending you. I want you to treasure this gift just like I want him to treasure you as his gift.
Now, coming from the church world, I have been a Christian, born again Christian for over 30 plus years. Okay. I can hear the Christian world screaming, especially the married Christian world, saying, you just need to seek God and wait on the Lord. What do you think when people respond that way? How does that affect you?
Actually, to be totally honest with you, right, I think that was the biggest part of my healing. That was the biggest part of my healing. Having a past relationship where you're wanting to go to church, or you have this yearning for a closeness spiritually with the Creator, then, you know, for me, it's like we didn't share that. So we were already unequally yoked, you know, but sometimes you think you can save some people, you know, and you're like, okay, they're going to change, they're going to get saved, blah, 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 blah. But it has to be within you. So right. once I began to love myself, and I said, you know what, God comes first. No matter what, God comes first in my walk, especially as a single woman. The spiritual walk for me is so important right now that I do believe that I have to wait on God. I do believe that. And I believe because of my relationship with God, God is going to show me yes or no. Yes, this is who I'm sending you. No, this is not who I'm sending you. And I have to be so in tune spiritually that I have to seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all his righteousness will be added unto me. Seek God first, and God will guide you. But don't ignore that, single women. Do not ignore your intuition within you. That's the connection you have with Christ. Christ is in you, lives in you. The divine Holy Spirit lives in you. Don't ignore when you see a sign and you say, I'm going to go for it anyway. Because sometimes you could be stepping out of God's will.
Okay. Diana Monet, what has your what is it like to really be that woman in waiting, and what are you looking for?
I am looking for a man that I'm looking for a relationship that, and he's allowing me to be comfortable, uncomfortable, comfortable, if that makes sense. Because at the end of the day, the whole fairy tale, oh, make me get butterflies and all that, sometimes it doesn't always start off that way. Especially when you're a woman like myself, maybe even like Sincere, that, we've had to go through the process of healing. We've had to go through the meditation. We've had to really get that divine connection with God in order to heal, because that's what's really gonna really help us be able to attract better. So I'm patient, and I'm always looking for the man to match me on a spiritual level, to match me on a level to know that I'm not perfect, and to kiss my scars. And like Sincere said, not, throw them up in my face later or keep reminding me of those scars. Someone who loves me the way I needed to be loved. So many times we get in relationships and we try to love a person the way that we feel they need to be loved, instead of listen to them. How do they need to be loved? What's their love language? A man that actually sees me. I'm a woman that, I've been overlooked for a long, long time. So I would need a man that really sees me, appreciates me, values me, because I know that when I feel that, I know when it's real. When you're seen. You always know when you're seen and when you're valued and you're appreciated. God speaks as well. It's always confirmations given as well. So I'm looking for that feeling, because again, just like we were talking earlier, that spirit is something that you just know, and it's a connection. So I'm looking for that when I meet that person. I'm looking for that knowing. I'm looking for that spiritual knowing of, what? Not only do I feel this, but I've done the work. I've done the inner work, which means if I'm doing the inner work and I'm constantly growing and I'm constantly evolving, I know that I'll do nothing but attract that. So that's what I'm looking for.
Well, wonderful. There are women out there, especially, I have to talk to the Christian world, who would never come on a platform like this, because they believe that to be on a platform like this makes them look desperate, or I don't know what. I've always been a person that was ahead of my time. I would always do things that other people would be like, well, I would never do that. And then a few years later, they're doing the exact same thing. And I believe that having been single, I've been single now for 5 years. And after being married for a long time and then going back into the single world, trust me, learning how to date and how to meet people, or how to even be single, was a huge task for me. And coming from the church world, most of us stay in our own little circles. And so you're never going to meet anybody, because your circle is small, your church is small, and most of them are women. And so in order for people to really recognize and realize that the world has changed, and the way, and especially during COVID, you can't even be at church, because you can't even go to church.
Right.
And so if you decide to be on a medium like this, they don't think that you're waiting on the Lord. They think that you're kind of putting yourself out there. And we know we got to deal, anything that you do, you're going to have to deal with people and their mindset. In order to cross those barriers and to be the kind of person who says, you know what, I don't really care what those people say. I know that what I bring to the table is valuable. And I know that every platform that God gives me is an opportunity for me to reach somebody that I may not know.
Absolutely.
I may not know them. I may have never met them. I may not even know they exist. Listen, somebody from another country could be watching. You know, you just
Absolutely.
never know.
You know what I would say to a person that might feel like it might be a little desperate is it always reminds me of, I don't know if you guys have heard the story with God and the man with the lottery ticket. He wanted to win the lottery. He ended up passing, getting up to heaven, and he said, God, you know, I've been asking to win the lottery for I don't know how long. And God's response was, you never bought a lottery ticket. And that's what I would say to something like that, because it's kind of what you were saying with, you know, how do you wait on God? God still gives you 5 senses. We still got to, he only can work through us. You know what I'm saying? We still got to put in the action, you know, so being on this platform, that could be part of the action that we have to take. And then there's the man, you know, you just never know. So I just love that story because it just reminds me all the time that we still have to do our part.
Exactly. We definitely have to do our part, especially as a single woman in waiting. When you get a certain age, you recognize and realize, hey, they're like 10 years younger than me. You know, how am I going to keep up? You know, what am I going to do? So we got to maintain and keep up ourselves as women that are in waiting. That's one good thing that I believe that a lot of people miss in their waiting process. They're waiting for something to happen, but they're not taking care of themselves. They're not eating right. They're not fixing their hair. They're not putting on any makeup. They're not going to the gym.
Right.
I mean, nobody wants to take on a health issue. You know, they want you, you know, to do what you need to do. I mean, there's some health issues that you cannot control, but then there are some that you just bring on yourself because in your time of waiting, you just kept eating ice cream and cake and cookies, and you didn't work out. And I'm talking to my
I love it, Victoria, because that's like, to me, when you're a lady in waiting, you know, to me it's preparation time. That's what I look at it as, you know, like this is my time to get myself together. You know, that way I can be the best woman that I can be for when Mr. Right comes. And that's where a lot of us sometimes we forget, you know, like you were saying, whenever we don't work out and we're not doing this, but yeah, we want our man to probably work out and do X, Y, and Z, but then we're not, you know, so it really is like a preparation thing.
I like to say I am working out again.
Well, good for you, Victoria.
Yes. What would you say to a younger Asir?
Oh my gosh. What would I say to her? All right. So I'd be like, listen here, girl. Let me tell you, so I would have to get to a straight with no chaser. Don't act like because this is a Christian show, you don't know what that means. So I have to give it to her straight with no chaser. The first thing I would just say to her is, Asir, now you have all these things that's going on. You're going to have to be careful of who you let into your circle. You're going to have to know why they're in your circle. And you're going to have to see what's the benefit, what's the trade-off of whoever, you know, you let into your circle, because years down the line, all little steps are the building and making of you. All of this is going to be the building and making of who you are. And if you can take these lessons that you learned around the way, you're going to be a phenomenal woman. Phenomenal woman. So I would say that to myself, because I in a part of healing, I had to look at myself in the mirror, and I had to kind of reprogram my mind and say, you're beautiful every day. I mean, I came from being a model in magazines and feature model to having someone say the most hideous things to me and make it. At one point in time, or 2 years ago, I was almost 200 pounds, and I've always been around 145. So for me, I had to reprogram my mindset and go back to the gym and meditate and pray and, you know, realize that I'm a goddess. God is within me. God is within me, and somebody is not getting that God is within me. What is God to you, Asir? God is my everything. It's the beauty I see when I look in the mirror. It is the food that I taste and put in my mouth and know that God created this. It is everything. And I need somebody to see that I'm a beautiful creation. But I had to see it in myself first. So I would tell younger Asir, always love yourself. If you love yourself, you can't tell no one else how to love you when you do not know how to love you.
Mhm.
And then I would do her like this. Go on, girl.
Yeah.
Diana Monet, tell me, what is it, the one feature about yourself that you believe will enhance the life of that ideal person that God's going to bring into your life?
I would say that one piece is my heart and my spirit. There's nothing more expensive than that I could give to anybody. I'm very genuine. I mean what I say. I do what I say. I am who I am. When you say authentic, that is me. I speak authentic. And I'm just, I'm just naturally that woman. I'm naturally that woman that if you give me love, I'm gonna give you 3 times the love back. I'm not a take person. I'm always just a giver, and I just want it reciprocated, and that's one of the biggest, I would say, I forgot what word you use. That's one of the biggest aspects I could say that I would bring to the table, most definitely, is that any man that has me as a woman on his arm will know that anything that he's given, I'm reciprocating. That just as much love and just as much grace that he's given me. Because again, I understand that I'm a woman, that I come with trauma. I come with things. Especially as you get older. These are things. It's a little bit harder sometimes when you get older. So I want that man that understands that and understands that the same grace that he's giving me, I'm going to give him back, and that we're going to get through anything, so my heart and that authenticity and that love in my spirit is one of my number one aspects that I could ever give a man.
That is amazing. What about you, Asir? What will the ideal man get when he chooses you?
He's gonna get honesty. He's gonna get honesty. I've learned to not hide my feelings anymore or feel like I can't be me. So he's gonna get a genuine honesty from me. He's going to get a partner in every sense of the word. I do believe in being his business partner. If the man falls short in the household, I don't want to be one of those women that I don't know how to pick up the pieces. So I want him to teach me so that in our partnership, we're doing this together. We're building together. I'm supporting you. You can have your own business. I have mine over here, but I truly want to be a helpmate in every sense of the word, or as a friend of mine say, help meet. I want to meet you. I want to help meet you so we can meet each other halfway. He's gonna get personality. I want someone I can laugh with and travel with and explore things with that I've never done before or seen before. I want a friendship. Mm-hmm. And this is a Christian show, but I want intimacy that's excellent from our chemistry of everything that we're doing together. I just want us to have. It sounds like a fairy tale, but God said I can ask for whatever I want.
Absolutely.
Exactly. I think that one of the most valuable things that have happened for me during this time of being single has been real self-discovery. I really, truly have been able to discover who I am as an individual. And I've been willing to do the work. I've been willing to look at things like unforgiveness and bitterness. And I've been able to let go of people that are toxic and people who I have tried to hold on to because there were soul ties. You know, soul ties are not just to the opposite sex. We can have soul ties to friends and soul ties to places, and all of those things can be very toxic to us. I've gained the strength to be able to walk away from things that are not healthy for me. You know, those have been some things that I've been able to learn how to do. I've been able, as the seer was saying, to learn what it means to really love myself. If when I love myself, I won't let you abuse me. When I love myself, I don't tolerate you just speaking to me and dishonoring me in any kind of way. I've learned how to love my own company. I am absolutely okay with being alone
Yes.
and by myself and going to the movies by myself and going out to eat by myself. I'm okay with that, with, you know, hours and hours of working at home and being by myself. I've learned how to embrace that through this season of single life. And the reason why I bring it up is because one of you were talking about it may seem like a fairy tale. It can be like a fairy tale if both people come into the situation, into the new relationship whole and understanding that the other person is not perfect. That they're going to have things, and probably at our age, at my age, they're probably going to have baggage. They may have been divorced or widowed, you know, or something like that may have happened in their lives. And you know, people that are willing to sit down at the table and work through the issues and not just throw in the towel and not just get in a situation where they're saying, well, I'm, you know, relationships when they go bad can get so ugly.
Yeah, when it's bad, it's bad.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You see things in that person that nobody could have ever told you. They couldn't have looked, they couldn't have prophesied to you and told you that this person would have turned that way because they turned so opposite of everything that you knew about them.
Yeah.
And the reason that those things happen is because people are not willing to keep working after they get the relationship. We do all the work to get in it, but once you get in it, you got to continue to do the work in order for the thing to stay healthy, in order for you to be that woman that's always building up that man. And I think Diana Monet said it, when you learn what that person's love language is.
Right.
I could shout that from the mountaintop because people want to love you the way that they want to be loved, and that's not your language.
Right.
If they're not willing to learn what your love language is, they're going to keep giving you what they want and expecting you to be okay
Yes.
with their interpretation of what you need.
Exactly.
So when you sit down, you have this conversation, and they'll say, yeah, I understand love languages. Yeah, well, why is it that you keep trying to love me according to what you want and not according to what you want?
Right.
You know, and next, exit stage left.
Yeah.
Houston, there's going to be a problem in this situation. My needs are not going to be met.
Yeah.
So I've learned, and I hope you ladies have too, I've learned, you cannot change people. People are who they are.
Yeah.
And I think Asir said it, when they show you who they are, believe them. When they show you who they are, accept the fact that if you make the choice to be with them, you have just chosen to never have your love need fulfilled. If you need quality time and they want to give you acts of service, and every time you cry out for quality time, they keep giving you acts of service, then accept the fact that you're never going to have that love language, that love need met if you choose that person.
Right.
Because some people believe God send them the person. Other people believe that God makes introductions so that you can choose the person.
Yeah.
However you choose to believe, you're going to be responsible for the person. You know, listen, somebody said this to me one time. The person that you choose in your life reflects your relational intelligence.
Mm.
Wow, that's
I couldn't agree 100%.
wow.
Wow,
That's a pause moment.
that
Think
is.
about all the people that you've met and the people that you've come in contact with during your single season that you've passed on. You know, you decided, nah, this is not it. Sometimes it was a little harder. I know for me, if I would be absolutely transparent, sometimes it was a little harder for me because still that codependency from my childhood tries to kick in and help make everybody better or make everybody okay. And so I have to kind of like slap myself and say, girl, it is not your job to make them better. It is not your job to make excuses for them. Snap out of it. You don't need nothing that bad.
Yep.
So as a lady in waiting, woo, glory, I feel good right now.
You should. I do too.
You know, as a lady in waiting, we don't have to take down. You know, you might have on your list, oh, he need to be 6'4". Well, he might not be 6'4", he might be 6'2", but he got 10 of the other things that you were looking for on your list. I choose you. You are good. You are kind. You are good-hearted toward people. You are financially stable and not living with your mama. I ain't got to
Exactly.
You can pay for your own car. Yeah, I ain't gotta explain to you about how much money I got. Oh, glory to God.
Exactly.
I ain't gotta explain to you about the people that I know. You don't take issue with that. You're okay with that. You are a whole man.
Yes.
A whole grown man.
Yes.
You know, and any time that you have to explain, you got to explain how you were able to buy a Maserati for cash. You got an issue over here.
Right.
There's somebody come in your life that can buy a Maserati for cash too and problem solve.
Right.
Okay? You know, so you just gotta, I'm talking a lot because I'm a lady in waiting too. So I feel like I need to share.
Absolutely.
Most of the time I don't do a lot of talking, but in waiting, sometimes it's not that you're not chosen. It's just that the people that you choose you don't want them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now that's very true. Yeah, that's very true.
Single by choice. Single by choice because you absolutely refuse to settle. Absolutely refuse to settle.
When you love yourself, you won't settle.
Yeah, I don't want half a man.
Yep.
I don't want to have a man.
Because I'm a whole woman.
I don't want, even if he's 6'4", if he can still be half a man. Every time you say something, his feelings are hurt. Come on.
Man.
Come on, we over 50 now.
Oh, that's so true, though. Oh my goodness.
What do you mean your feelings hurt? If you at 30, but we 50 now. We got some childhood issues we need to handle. And listen, anybody who's still dealing with childhood issues and haven't resolved them are going to transfer all of that stuff over into their new relationship. Things that are not processed are still inside of a person and they are working. And they are going to come out up under pressure. Yeah. And so that's the reason I know both of you said, immediately if the person is for you or not. Mm-hmm. Sometimes for me, it takes a little bit longer because I really want to understand where they are in their process of healing. Not that they're telling me that they heal, mm-hmm. but the way that they respond to certain things and the way that they carry themselves. Because you are a kingmaker. You know that when you connect your caboose to his train, it's about to go to first class.
Period. Yeah.
And so when you give somebody the gift of what it is that you bring to the table, that's the reason why you got to kind of take your time and just wait it out. And hey, nah, I can't take you to first class, and you still got the hood in you.
Yeah.
Right.
Go out, you're going to bed.
Yes.
Can't take you nowhere.
No, that's true.
Ladies, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask me before we go?
I would like to know, what is your advice for the both of us while we are waiting? Do you have any advice for us specifically?
I would think for both of you ladies is to find some single friends just like yourselves that have the same goals, the same drive, the same determination, and travel the world. Travel, meet people from different countries, different cultures, find out what France is like and what Italy is like, and find out what it's like to go to London. Find out, go and go first class for yourself sometimes. I mean, make enough money to pamper yourself so when that significant other comes, he just fall right in place. That's your gauge. If he can't take you where you already can take yourself, just keep waiting and get a hold of these girlfriends. Do what you need to do. And I know it's not a comfortable place when you're wanting to be with somebody, but I can tell you now, you are better off by yourself than you are with somebody who's going to kill your dreams, kill your spirit, tear away at the person that you are. Yeah. And the thing that I pray and talk to God about all the time is, Lord, help me to enjoy the season of my life with just me. And I got a dog here named Bella. Just me and Bella. Help me to enjoy every moment. I cook for myself. I go where I want to go. I go shopping. I get up when I want to. I go to bed when I want to. I watch Netflix if I want to. I watch YouTube if I want to. All of that goes away when you get married.
Yeah.
You have to kind of compromise, or you got to find another room to watch what you want to watch.
Right.
And my thing is, Diana Monet, is take your significant other around people that love you and listen to what they have to say. Ooh, and make sure that the people that you take them around are whole themselves.
Exactly.
Somebody who look at somebody and say, well, he don't even look right. Well, you ain't even heard what he got to say.
Right. Exactly.
You haven't heard what he has. You haven't heard it. And that's the one thing that get me is when people look at people and size people up based on their appearance. Let them at least say something. Find you a healthy group of people who can look at that individual and their interactions with you out in public, or watch them while they're in private and listen to what they have to say, because people see things that we don't see, because when we're in love, we get blind, we get deaf, we go dumb. Lord, we got Google eyes. We can't see it. And I'm not talking about somebody that, that's just going to nitpick, but I'm talking about detrimental things. Like he got a Roman eye, or he's flirting with your friend when you leave the room, or when the waiter came by, he was so nasty and talking to the waiter. That's eventually coming to you, that's a part of who they are. Same thing with a man. A man needs to make sure he do the same thing whenever he's with a woman. If you don't want somebody popping their neck at you when you out in public, watch how she pop her neck when you out eating dinner and she popping at the waiter, And so that's the kind of counsel I would give you. Just enjoy.
I love that.
Enjoy your life. We're going to London soon. Diana Monet, come and go with us.
Yes.
With us.
Yes, I would love to.
Yeah, I've been there a bunch of times. Go there, have fun, dance in the rain, meet new people, learn the culture. Yes. All right, Asir.
I would just say I got to co-sign everything you just said, Pastor. I call her Pastor Prophet.
I got so many names.
I have to say that I agree with you wholeheartedly. One of the things that I had to learn was, if you can't love yourself, you can't teach someone else how to love you. And then, you just can't. So all those things that you named, I am having a ball just doing it, spa day and, going out to lunch and sitting here, there was a time I grew up in a family of 5. It was a lot of us in the house all the time, so I never wanted to be by myself. And I'm enjoying being by myself without someone saying, oh, that color doesn't look good on you, or don't wear that dress, or take that makeup off your face. Well, I'm a model. I come home with makeup on my face, take it off, Now I try all different colors. One of the things that was taught to me in the very beginning, a lady said to me, what kind of donut do you like? And I had to sit there like this, and I was like, I don't know. Like, I didn't know. So she could go buy a whole box of donuts. I said, lady, can't you see I'm trying to lose weight? She said, no, just take a bite of each one. And I realized the one that I was being brought home every day was not the one I really liked. So I say that story. I had to learn to find out what I like. If someone says now, what do you want to go eat? I don't say I don't know. I know what I want. Yes. I know what I want. And when you know what you want, when you love yourself, it's easy for somebody else to love you because they can see the love all over you.
Yep, absolutely.
And me, I love to go out. I love to go to City Walk here in Florida. I love to go and eat at Bob Marley's. I love to go to movies. I love to dress up and go out if I'm just going by myself. I'm telling you, I love having fun. And I know that you ladies love it as well. And I have enjoyed my time with you. I have thoroughly enjoyed it. I think both of you are absolutely beautiful women. I believe that you have a lot to bring to the table. I believe that some well-deserving young man is watching or will watch, and the season of waiting will end at God's appointed time. But that time can be accelerated as you prepare yourself and believe.
Yes.
I'm a record breaker. I believe anything.
Yes.
I believe that by the time, I believe anything can happen. I know beyond a shadow of a doubt that God has many of us in preparation, and the season is right around the corner. Look, this is the 9th month. This is the time to give birth to dreams, to visions, to desires. And I'll never let anybody tell me what I cannot have. And I'll never let anybody tell me, you need to focus on this. No, you need to focus on yours. I'm focusing on what I believe God to do in my life. And I believe that there are many people that are watching right now that are, and I do need to say this. There are a lot of people out there that during this pandemic have suffered emotionally in ways that many of us could never even imagine. We've had series and times of depression and down moments because of the things that we've had to go through. But there are people out there right now that somebody may come across this screen and they are at the wit's end. They are ready to end it all. They haven't had success in relationships, be it male relationships or friendship relationships. And I just want to take a moment right now, and I just want to speak to that person. If you're looking right now, and maybe you're going through a divorce, God knows, I know how horrifying that experience can be. I know how it can leave you even after you get through it. Or maybe you suffered from COVID, or you were in isolation and now fear has gripped you. I want to speak to you, and I want to encourage you to reach out to people that love you. I want you to call somebody that knows how to pray, somebody that will stand with you during this hard season. And there are people out there that will pray with you, that will talk to you, that will help you to get off the bridge and not jump over, but to embrace life. And I used to say it like this. People would say to me, hey, I can't live without them. Yes, you can, and yes, you will. And you can wait on God as God prepared you and get you ready for the best days of your life. Part of your going into the best is that you've got to believe it. And I know that I heard these ladies talking about meditation, and I take my meditation from Joshua 1:8. When I meditate on God's word day and night, I make my way prosperous and I can have good success. And when I start to believe that something good can happen, something good will start to happen for me. I'll start to attract that to me because that's where my faith is. So wherever you are, look, she got email address on here where you can reach us, where I'll pray with you. I'll talk to you through this hard season. Admin at bosslady-network.com. And if anybody out there, if you're interested in being a part of one of our broadcasts, I'd love for you to reach out as well. Just email us and say, hey, I'd like to be a part, especially men. I'm always wanting to understand the mindset of a man. So if you know any young man, older man, whoever, that would like to come on here and share, we heard the women. A couple of weeks ago, we heard the men, but I'm always interested, especially older men. I haven't really had any really older men on here. I'd like to bring them on and give them an opportunity to share. I want to thank all of you, especially my guests, for being here tonight. But I want to thank all of you who took the time to tune in and spend the last hour with us. Wow, it went so fast. I want to say thank you. I want to say God bless you. And I want to say that I love you. And until next time, may God cause your divine connection to connect. All right?
All right. Bye.
Okay.